need to turn off my video. Wait a second, I gotta turn off my video. Where is it? Go. Ready to begin.
Francis, you may begin.
Could you zoom in on the slides? Thank you. Next slide, please. Good evening, and welcome to this candidate forum for the Saratoga Union School District. There's a total of 4 candidates running for 2 open seats. My name is Francis Zahn, Vice President of the League of Women Voters, Southwest Santa Clara Valley, which covers the cities of Los Gatos, Saratoga, Monte Sereno, Campbell, and a segment of West San Jose. The Saratoga Union School District elects their trustees at large, meaning the district is not divided into areas or seats. The 4 candidates for the forum are Jakub Elzik, Jingyuan Huang, Melissa Stanis, and Ramya Basu. Tonight, we have 3 candidates present. Unfortunately, Mr. Elzik is not able to join us today. I would also like to acknowledge our voter service team who organized tonight's forum. Our team members are Amy Cody, Meg Jiberson, Linda King, Tom Pickrow, Priya Shastri, Patty Tennant, Amy Vu, Linda Price, Eleanor Yick, and myself. Next slide, please. Before we begin, I just wanted to share some information about the League of Women Voters. The League has been empowering and defending democracy for over 100 years. The League has 2 separate and distinct roles: voter service and public education, which we are doing tonight, action and advocacy on public policy issues when we have studied and adopted a position. The League is a nonpartisan political organization, and the League never supports or opposes any political party or candidate. Next slide, please. So other than candidate forums, the League has voter service programs that also include pros and cons on ballot measures, which you can find on our website, voter registration events, and participation in Vote 411, which is your one-stop information site for all things about the election. Please note, this webinar is also being recorded and will be posted in full, unedited on our local League's website and YouTube channel. The League is a national grassroots organization. When you join your local league, you automatically become a member of all levels, including the state and national leagues. And now I'd like to introduce Eleanor Yick, our Voter Services Director.
Thank you, Francis. And I'd like to request that the slides be shown. Before we begin the forum, I would like to highlight some facts about the upcoming election, voting, and how the League conducts its forums. Slide 6 highlights what you will find on your ballot. You will notice that you are voting, of course, at the federal level for a US president. We also have a major congressional race in District 16. We have state candidates in both the Senate and the Assembly. We have state candidates in both the Senate and the Assembly. We have local candidates. We have Santa Clara County elections for the Board of Supervisors, for the Superior Court, for the Board of Education. And of course, there are many local elections that are going on. Now we'll move on to the next slide, which I still am not able to access. This slide tells you some basic facts about the upcoming election. As you all probably know, starting the week of October 7th, you will be receiving your mail-in ballot. You can return it in one of 3 ways. You can send it back by the US mail. You need to make sure that it is dated before or on November 5th in order for it to be taken. You could decide to drop your ballot off at the nearest secure box, which the Registrar of Voters locates throughout the county. Or you could decide that you're going to go to a vote center. Vote centers can give you another ballot if you have made a mistake on your original one. They can help you if you don't understand exactly what you're doing. So vote centers, which open about 11 days before the election, are another source of information. Let's go on to the next slide. The League of Women Voters is really very well known for their candidate forums because we run them in a very definite order. So I'd like to highlight for you some ground rules that the candidates have agreed to observe during this forum. The League supports the accepted norms of civil discourse. And in that light, the candidates have agreed to follow those norms that were outlined in a document they received. For example, candidates have agreed not to interrupt each other and to refrain from naming or making personal statements about another candidate. I want to remind everyone that the League hosts forums, not debates. Forums feature the candidates and their ideas. If any candidate fails to follow the League's guidelines, they may be asked to leave the forum. Candidates have also agreed to follow the allotted response times. Candidates are reminded that they don't have to use the full time allotment, but they're requested not to exceed that allotted amount of time. And now I would like to introduce League member Linda Price, who will be our forum moderator tonight. Linda?
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Eleanor. And now on to our forum. I am now pleased to welcome and introduce the 3 candidates. We did have 4. We have 3 right now who are running for the 2 open seats on the Saratoga Union Elementary School District. Candidates, put on your video when I announce your name. Ji Young Hung. I hope I've gotten that right.
Hi.
Hi.
Jingle bell.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Melissa Stannis.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you. And Rama Vasu.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good. Thank you. We so appreciate your willingness to participate in this virtual forum tonight. Okay, during tonight's forum, when the candidates are answering questions, a timer will appear on a separate screen. Priya, our IT chair, would you show the audience and the candidates that timer now? Okay.
It's up.
Good, thank you. Whoops, excuse me, gallery. Okay, please note how the color around the timer changes as it nears the allotted time for that question. And candidates are requested to end their sentences once the stop sign is shown. Okay, this forum is scheduled to last approximately 1 hour. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to introduce herself by specifically answering this question in their opening statement. What qualifies you to serve on the Board of Trustees for the Saratoga Union Elementary School District? The candidates will make their opening statements in alphabetical order. And after opening statements, candidates will have 60 seconds to answer subsequent questions which have been submitted through the registration process, obtained from local social media sites, and developed by our League members. So I, as the moderator, will announce and enforce the time limits for each question. And lastly, the forum will close with the candidates speaking in a reverse order from the opening statement, answering this question. What question do you wish you had been asked tonight? Why? And how would you have responded? Candidates will have 90 seconds to respond. Okay, so now, are you ready? Let's begin. All right, so candidates, please answer as your opening statement what specifically qualifies you to serve as a Saratoga Union Elementary School Board of Trustees. Candidates will have 90 seconds to respond. So we are going to begin with Ms. Swang. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jingyuan Huang, and please call me Jing, as in Jingle Bell. And first, I'd like to thank the League for hosting this event tonight. Our family moved to Saratoga because of its beautiful environment and also because of the excellence in the schools. With 2 kids in Argonaut Elementary, my older one in 5th grader going to be Redwood next year, and a 3rd grader, I have devoted my time as a parent volunteer. I served on the Parcel Tax Committee for Oversight Committee for 2 years. I was a board member for Argonaut Elementary PTA, and I'm also currently serving Saratoga Education Foundation. My experiences in these organizations give me insights into how our district functions, as well as the challenges and opportunities that we can have. I also have kind of a unique combination of professional skills. I worked as a full-time software engineer while attending law school part-time, and I'm now a patent counsel for a big law firm. I believe that my technical background and my training allows me to study complex issues, collaborate with others, and also navigate regulatory issues if needed. I'm running for the excellence of our children and also for their social and emotional well-being. And I'll be very honored to earn your support and the vote. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Melissa, you're next. Do you need me to repeat it or are you okay with it?
I'm good, thank you. Good evening, fellow candidates and members of the audience, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. As the current president of the Saratoga Union School Board, I've had the honor of serving our community since being elected 4 years ago, always ensuring that my decisions benefit all of our students and district as a whole. I take the time to carefully research every issue, believing that thoughtful, informed decisions are key to driving real and meaningful progress. During my tenure, we've navigated challenges like safely returning to classrooms and addressing evolving academic, social, and mental health needs. My focus remains on academic excellence while supporting the whole child through a balanced offering of academics, music, arts, and STEM. Collaboration is key to my leadership, uniting parents, teachers, and administrators to work towards one goal: student success. I'm running for re-election because I'm committed to continuing this work. With my experience, dedication, and thoughtful approach, I'm ready and qualified to continue leading Saratoga Union School District towards an even brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ramya?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ramya Vasu. I'm excited to be running for the Saratoga Union School District Board. I'm uniquely qualified for this position. I'm a special education teacher in a public school district, a parent of 5th and 8th grader in Saratoga School District, a volunteer at large, both at the schools and community. And last, I have a background in finance as well. I have served on the PTA boards, SCF board, and currently serving on the Saratoga Music Boosters Board. I'm a commissioner for the City of Saratoga's Library and Public Arts Commission, which means I'm familiar with the board governance guidelines. As a teacher, I understand our needs as well as know what and how much a teacher can deliver. As a parent, I understand what I want for my child, and I have a pulse on the conversations of our community. My involvement includes attending Saratoga School District board meetings, board office hours, Los Gatos High School board meetings. So I'm very familiar with the procedures, protocols, and pressing issues that are being raised by teachers, parents, and students. Understanding the overall needs of our parent community, plus my teaching credential, will guide my effort to offer the best for our district. Please visit Ramya for SUSD number 4 for more information about me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you, candidates. Now we're going to move on to the questions submitted through the registration process or developed by the league members. Okay, you'll have 60 seconds to respond to each question, and the candidates will respond to these questions in a randomized order. So the question is, what are the roles and responsibilities of a school board today? And we are now going to start with Melissa.
All right, so the roles and responsibilities of the school board really are to be a governance team in combination with the superintendent. Your role as a school board trustee is many faceted. You are looking at academics, you are looking at the social emotional needs of the students, you're looking at financial oversight, you're looking at all of the amazing opportunities that we can provide to our students through booster groups. And you are working to make sure that everything that you're doing falls within Ed Code requirements, in addition to making sure that you are meeting the educational minutes required by Ed Code. In terms of other roles and responsibilities, obviously advocating for the community as an elected representative of the community. You want to make sure the decisions you make are representative of every student who you're serving. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ramya.
So the board has a lot of things that they do. They, first of all, they start off like what Melissa mentioned, the governance part. They oversee the whole governance part of the school district. They oversee the budget that happens at the school district. They do other things such as superintendent evaluation. They also are the bridge between the community members, the students, the parents, and the administration. They're also supporting the teachers in all the facets that they need. And also going through the legal part and advocacy part as well. And last, not but the least, they also maintain the equity and inclusion that all the districts cater to. So those are some of the things that the board does, but overall, they maintain the governance and oversee everything that has been happening at the school district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jean.
Hi. My understanding of the board's role and responsibility is more like providing the vision and direction. Board leads the superintendent and the administration to set the direction that our district would like to go. And during that process also comes with the responsibility of oversight. And once we have mutually agreed goals, and the board need to ensure that our practice, our implementation would go as planned. The board probably should set measurable metrics to determine whether we're heading in the right direction. And with that, Rami already mentioned there's the bridge between the school district administration part and the community, because we do have measurable metrics, but we also need to collect feedback from the community. So that will complete our feedback loop so that as a whole, we can ensure the district is heading towards the right direction. That's said by board.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next question. What steps would you take to ensure the school district's budget is spent efficiently while still maintaining high standards? And we're going to be beginning with Ramya.
Well, first to begin with, the school board, the school district, the CBO for Saratoga School District would be creating the school budget. And as mentioned in the previous question, it is the job of the school board to ensure that the checks and balances in the finances are being maintained. If you have attended past board meetings or if you have observed some of them, most of these items comes up to the board members for approval. Be it a small item to the large items. Every check goes through the school board. And so it is up to the board to ensure that the CBO and the school district is following the budget that is being presented. And also we are managing the finances in a wider community, because at the end of the day, we are going to be representing the finances of the community members. So that's how we need to maintain the board finances as a board member.
Thank you. Okay, Jean.
Timer. Okay. So in terms of high educational standard, I think a key part of it is definitely the teaching staff. So my take on it is that currently our district is in a good fiscal position. More than 80% of our general fund is used for teacher salary. And I think this is a good position to be in, and we should continue that to make sure that our district stays competitive, especially compared to neighboring districts, and so that we can have high quality teaching staff to achieve the high educational standards. At the same time, there's room for us to consolidate and simplify our resources and spending structure so that we can find additional programs that are above and beyond the state requirements for our children. So that's where fiscal accountability and transparency would come in to make sure that we optimize for all sorts of programs for our children.
Okay, thank you. All right, Melissa.
All right. So the question that I wrote down, what steps to ensure the budget is spent efficiently? There is actually a yearly budget cycle that the district follows. This starts when we set our district priorities and align all of our expenses, personnel, equipment, everything like that, with the priorities and the measurables that the board has established. Throughout the year, we have opportunities to review how the money is being spent when we review the interim budget reports in December and March. And during those times, we look closely at the multi-year projection for the district so that we're not just evaluating current year spending, but making sure that our spending is sustainable this year and in future years. One of our priorities recently has been maintaining our facilities, and through very careful financial oversight, we've actually been able to do about $10 million in needed upgrades without a tax bond.
Okay, thank you. All right, question. The next question. What have you done to build and maintain the trust of our community? And we will begin with Jing.
So to build the trust of our community is through my volunteer experience. I've tried I started on the parcel tax committee over the pandemic, where our community was in need for volunteers. And that was a rewarding experience. And through that, as a starting step, led me to participate more into the PTAs and eventually in the Saratoga Education Foundation as well. And I think just honesty and hard work would earn the trust of some of our amazing community members in the district and just in our neighborhood as a whole.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next one, Melissa.
All right. I feel like my entire experience within SUSD has been building trust within our community. I am in my 12th year as a parent in the district. And over the years, before I joined the board, or before I was elected to the board, I served many capacities. I was on the district's social emotional learning advisory committee. I was on the parcel tax oversight. I was on the SEF board as a site rep. I was on the SEF bylaw review committee. I was president of the Saratoga Schools Site Council. I was on the Saratoga Elementary PTA board and the Saratoga Service Learning Committee. Beyond that, I helped innumerable places with many different projects over the years. I still volunteer as much as I can, but I am limited from what I can do because I am a board member. But I get involved with my boys' activities, including an outside charity league that my son and I volunteer in.
Okay, thank you. And now, Rama.
Thank you. I have earned the trust of the community through my various services, not just at schools, but also outside of the schools. I am known to bring the community together from between the schools and the outside community that doesn't see what the schools have. For example, when we had the pandemic in 2020, I hosted the SEF art show, which presented the art the students did during the pandemic time to the entire community. It was posted in downtown Saratoga. So the entire city of Saratoga and others were able to come and see them and, absorb the beautiful artwork. Like I had mentioned, I'm the city's commissioner. I'm also a Girl Scouts leader, and I have various faces and hats that I wear at all given times. I'm a true community builder, and I have received multiple awards on the same as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Melissa, this is going to be for you. What are your ideas on addressing the mental health of students? Melissa.
I love this question because
All
this
right.
is something I am so passionate about. We on the board about 3 years ago authorized the rollout of a system of early intervention called multi-tiered systems of success. Although there are academic components to this, it also looks at behavioral, mental health, social, all sorts of components. And what I've seen over the last 3 years, we've seen measurable results in that we're able to move the needle for students to help them function better and have lifelong learning in our schools. Additionally, before I joined the board, I was on the Social Emotional Learning Advisory Committee that helped vet and choose the curriculums being used in our schools today, such as the Toolkit and Acknowledge Alliance in the middle school years. Additionally, last year, the board authorized hiring a district social worker to work directly with students and families. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Ramya?
This is again one of the subjects that I actually teach, and I walk my walk in there as well as a special education teacher. Social emotional learning is the base of every foundation in my classroom and to all the other broader communities, say be it the Girl Scouts or at school when I'm volunteering. Some of the things that I have been part of at school level, which involves being part of the social emotional group, I have been a Project Cornerstone parent and been involved in supporting the school's social emotional growth on campus. I'm a big proponent of art, music. I'm part of the Saratoga Music Boosters just because I love music. Even before my daughter started off, when she was in 3rd grade, I was actually part of the Music Boosters community because I believe in music, art, and social emotional learning. Thank you.
Okay. And Jean?
So Melissa and Ramya already mentioned some of the programs that I love about our school district. For example, Project Cornerstone, I used to be a parent volunteer reading those books to the kids in the classroom as well. And I love the fact that we have those toolboxes for elementary kids where, when they have emotions and the toolboxes will tell them, teach them the proper way of handle certain emotions, which is very important growing up. And some of the skills are even usable by adults. I'm not super familiar with the Alliance program that Melissa mentioned in the middle schools. I think that's something that I will continue to learn. But I do think that middle school can be very challenging just because the changes that these kids are going through. Actually, part of the SEF discussion is to find more opportunities to see if we can provide additional mental health or social emotional well-being programs for middle school kids.
Thank you. Okay. The next question is, what do you think are 1 or 2 of the most pressing issues that the district is facing? And how do you think these issues should be addressed? And we're going to begin with Ramya.
Thank you. The pressing issue I see is not unique to our district. One of the things I believe in is open communication and transparency, which are the staples of an excellent working community. For instance, I've heard from multiple parents that they don't know the bullying, racism, and harassment reporting protocol. Saratoga District has a great bullying policy that the district revised while they took input from the Changemakers Committee, which I was proudly part of. But most parents are unaware of the online submission form because it's not easy to locate. Communicating the protocol and the online complaint process across the board towards teachers, parents, students through various platforms is what open communication and transparent would entail. So when I get on the board, I would make sure that the transparent communication and collaboration is being established. Thank you.
Okay, good. Let's see. Where are we now? Okay, so we are to Jane.
So to me, I think actually our district is doing a very good job. Well, thanks to Melissa is part of that, which we have a robust district. But I think overall, always goal or high level issue is how can we support whole child education? And with that, I have several aspects in my mind. I mentioned that from the fiscal point of view, our district is in a strong position. And so whether we can have room to have more effective allocation of our resources to provide more to our students. And transparency, Ramya mentioned, transparency is the key. When the board makes decisions or proposes changes, how to effectively communicate that to all stakeholders, not just the parents, but also teachers, administration team, to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And also sustainability. We want to have long-term development for our children. We want to make sure that every change we make will last for a long period of time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And last, Melissa.
All right, so one or two pressing issues and how to address. I think first and foremost is something that the board has been discussing now for several years and is a statewide issue, and that is declining enrollment. We are convening a study group or a community group in November to start looking at this issue and see what the implications could be for our district. As we are a locally funded district, we don't have the financial impacts that some of our neighboring districts have had, where they've had to immediately close school sites in order to pay their bills. However, we are starting to look at one or two small class sizes or two small classes per grade level, at which point do you start to lose a robust school environment. So that is one pressing issue. Another pressing issue that I see is really balancing the academic needs with the ongoing social emotional fallout from the COVID pandemic.
Okay, thank you. All right, so another question is, how do you see the role of the school board evolving with regards to freedom of thought, expression, and dialogue in the schools? And we are going to begin with Jane.
So we talked about the role of the board, and I mentioned in my previous answer that I believe the board sets the direction. And along with that is the bridge between the community and then the school, the superintendent and administration. So how should the role evolve to account for more freedom of speech or just to effectively express the community's concerns? I think, again, we have to have an open procedure to have a clear procedure for the community at large, for the parents, for the teacher to understand the proper channel to raise those concerns, to bring their voices out. Because one concern is that the board, I'm learning this as a parent too, it's not just about my individual perspective, but the board as a whole need to understand and have a fact approach into the issues that raised by the community.
Okay, thank you. Melissa, same question.
Could I have you repeat the question, please?
Sure. How do you see the role of the school board evolving with regards to freedom of thought, expression, and dialogue in the schools?
Thank you for repeating that. So I want to point out first and foremost, we're a TK to 8 district, and in the news, you see a lot of controversial issues in schools that sometimes tend to be more towards high school. Having said that, there are a lot of ed code regulations that guarantee students freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and so I think it's first and foremost that we need to make sure that whatever we do, we are following California Ed Code and making sure that any changes that are made are for the benefit of students and the benefit of teachers, and not anything that would take away rights from either group. I haven't seen this come across our board so much, so I don't really have a strong opinion about any type of book banning or anything like that.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, and Ramya, the same question.
Sure. Well, first to begin with, like Melissa mentioned, this is a TK through 8th grade district. And as an educator, as a teacher, I believe that education starts on day one, especially being an early childhood educator, providing them, the students, open dialogue, giving them the knowledge of what inclusivity looks like, modeling it, and also sharing it with the parents is very important. As a community, we are growing our children and students together. At the end of the day, they end up in the village, and we want to ensure that they understand the concepts of equity, inclusivity, and other races, especially living in the Bay Area with so many diverse races. We need to ensure that they're respectful and also knowledgeable in it. So educating the students on it and giving them a platform while modeling it as well. That's how I believe that we should be doing this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ready for another question?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so now students need to learn how to function as a citizen in America's form of democracy. How should the district school foster knowledgeable and responsible citizenship? And we will begin with Melissa.
Absolutely. I believe first and foremost that one of the great things that we do offer in this country is our public education system and the opportunity for students to learn about not only our country, but other countries and what makes our country unique. And part of that is our democratic system that we use for elections. I think, I've heard from different classrooms that they will hold mock elections. Students will pretend to run for different positions. We even have student, when the kids run for the student council and the student government, we have opportunities like that. In terms of bringing national politics into the classroom, I believe as long as teachers are doing this without implying their personal beliefs on the system, that it's absolutely appropriate to bring current news into the classroom as long as it's being presented in an educational way.
Okay, thank you. Ramya.
Well, this is one of the most favorite topics as a teacher and as a Girl Scouts leader for me during this time of the year. I have personally created lesson plans, not just for my students, but also for other community members in the community on democracy, like, giving the students and the community at large like a flag retirement ceremony that I just organized last Saturday. That is part of the democracy as well. Because if you go and ask a child, hey, what do you do with the flag? How do you retire it? They're like thinking, does it go in the garbage or recycle? So I wanted to educate the students. And that's where it starts. So when people think of democracy, they think of bigger picture. But I say start small, baby steps. Let's have great conversations and let's teach the children the little steps in the democracy process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jing.
I'm learning from the system. I didn't grow up in a democratic system, so this is my attempt of being part of the US form of democracy, and I'm learning a great deal. And so I think it is very important, and I do value the system that we have to have our kids learning early on, starting from small steps, and understand even at the elementary level, they have those leadership committee where they can advocate for themselves, and they can run those mock elections and try to mimic the system that they're going to enter into when they grow up. I think these are valuable experiences for them, and also bringing part of what's going on. And it's inevitable. It's a part of our life in political season like that. Having a factual approach to tell them, let them know what's going on around them, surrounding in the world, is also very crucial and valuable for our children.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question is, I got everybody. how could and would you continue to improve the recruitment and retention of excellent teachers? And we will begin with Ramya.
Well, as a teacher myself, I always want to be working in a great environment. So that's the first thing, having the support systems in the schools, having it multi-tiered support systems for the teachers, having a balanced social emotional support for the teachers. That's what I see when I want to go into a school district and work there. All of us agree it doesn't happen only in the school districts, but everywhere we want to go, we want to have a supportive environment, a happy environment, and a cheerful one. At the same time, the salaries and the cost of living also comes in place. So giving them the benefits and the salaries that are needed for survival and more is also very required for us to maintain. Also going beyond that, Saratoga District, because I worked in other districts, Saratoga is great with supporting the teachers fiscally in the classrooms as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jean.
So I mentioned a little bit in my previous answer is that to improve teacher retention, we want to have high quality teachers in the district. And a part of that, Ramya mentioned, is compensation for sure. We can't avoid it. It's an expensive area to live in. So as the district, I think we should set the direction to stay competitive, especially as compared to some of the neighboring district, to make sure that we can attract good quality teachers and retain them. But another aspect is just more than money, because I think even for the teachers too, we need support, resources other than the compensation. And we need to make sure that we communicate those information to the teachers so that they are aware the resources in the district, the support from the parents. And also one thing important is that we need to have equitable distribution of the resources for all sorts of different teachers, regular and the special ed, for example, so that everyone will enjoy the resource we have.
Okay. Melissa?
All right. One of the things I am so proud of with Saratoga Union School District is our excellent teaching staff. We have some of the most highly compensated teachers in the state between compensation and health and welfare. Continually, whenever we post job listings, we get a wide range of applicants for each position. Through the various negotiations that I've been involved with on the board, we've always remained competitive in our negotiations. Last year, we lowered class sizes and added additional support staff. In terms of teacher experience, we also have one school psychologist per site, plus a CASI counselor to support students so that teachers can teach and focus on academics and achievement and allow the support services to help where needed. We have small schools and our principals have time to be in the classrooms and support our excellent instruction. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. How would you support transparency to families on key school advantages, such as certain course offerings, enrichment opportunities, teacher experience levels, etc., and the degree to which students of different races and income levels receive these benefits? And we will begin with Jean.
So in terms of course offerings, I think that's probably more at the middle school level where electives are offered, because at elementary, I think it's pretty standard for everybody. But it's a matter of making that information available to the families. And so that I can't really comment on the specifics in the middle school, but I think the key is, again, awareness of what the resources are available in the district. And in terms of making programs available for different races and income levels, I think that's actually required by the state law that our public education stays free and available for all children. So that's, again, we are in a good fiscal condition as a district, and we are financially capable of supporting all our families. So that's my take on this question. Thank you.
Okay. Melissa.
All right. there's a lot in this question, but I'll do my best. So currently, all of our TK to 5 schools have specials that are offered throughout the week. And these include music, arts, makerspace. All students get equal access to these during a very busy school day. Most 6th graders have the opportunity to take the wheel, which introduces them to various course selections that they can take in 7th and 8th grade. One of the, I previously mentioned declining enrollment being a concern and something that needs to be looked at. One of the challenges with declining enrollment is that you lose the ability to offer multiple sections of an elective when you, as your class sizes shrink, which makes putting together a master schedule that much more complicated. Back in the spring, we did ask the superintendent that we be able to preview the course selections and electives offered at the middle school this coming year or next school year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rania.
Well, similar to what others had mentioned, there is a lot to pack in here, so I'll try to go concise. So transparency is one thing that is very important for the district to be, maintaining. So Saratoga School District is very good with it by spreading the word using the parent square. Teachers have always communicated about the programs that are happening on campus. We've seen newsletters from the principals, and the pictures in there, bring us a lot of joy. And also the curriculum map is being available online for all parents to look at and go through on what are the basic things. Like, say, for example, 3rd grade, what are they learning in math? Everything is available clearly and transparently on the website, and communicating that to the parents is the key. There are parent committees that are being formed by the district for like math and other subjects that are needed. There are boosters and other PT organizations that also support and communicate. So that's how the transparency in our district is happening currently. Thank you.
Okay, well, we have a little bit of time before we get to the last question, so I'll ask you one more, a little bit fun. What is an interesting fact about you that someone probably doesn't know? So we'll start with Melissa.
I only get to choose one.
Whatever.
So here's a fun one. Before I moved to Saratoga, I worked in the entertainment industry as a film and music TV editor. I have a bachelor's of music and composition and have been a lifelong musician. So I had a whole career working in Hollywood in TV and film, and I claim that it was my master's level experience learning how to deal with different personalities, coming into a room, understanding people might have very different opinions about something, trying to get to the bottom of the issue and bring people into consensus. Fundamentally, I always lead with a sense of positive intent that everyone is just doing their best. And we need to get as much information as possible to make the best decision we can. And so, yeah, that's my fun fact.
Yeah. So you didn't have room, you didn't have time for another one. All right, Ramya, same question.
Okay. Well, one fun fact that most people don't know is that I have played field hockey for the universities where I went for my undergrad and my MBA back in India. And field hockey is actually the national sport of India, because I've had people ask, why field hockey? I'm like, because it's a national sport. We play there. And also another thing on that is I've never played on a turf. I've played only on grass fields. So I have no clue how it feels to go back on the grass field. But while playing hockey, I've learned a lot of things. First thing to begin with is sportsmanship. Also to begin with on how to be a leader, how to communicate on the field when there is an emergency and there's no emergency protocol over there. So those things are all so much fun. At the same time, a lot of learning that happens when you play a team sport like the hockey in such a huge country.
Okay, thank you. And Jane, same question.
So maybe not so fun, but at some point in my life, I was really into mountain climbing. And I hiked Kilimanjaro and I went to Everest Base Camp. And I thought I would continue and follow that path down the road until I met my husband and got married and everything stopped. But I think it's just a part of me that I would like to push myself and to go to the unknowns, and then to know the unknowns and to learn from there. And it's been a path, actually. This is coming back to this. It's my first ever campaign experience, and it feels a little bit like mountain climbing too. Because I'm just walking down the path. I don't know where exactly it's leading me. I think I know, but I'm learning a great deal in this process. And I hope that I'll be able to work with many community members going forward.
Okay, thank you. Well, ladies, this is our last question. We're going to wrap it up. And you know what it is, and I'll repeat it for you. What question do you wish you had been asked tonight, and why? And how would you have responded? Remember, you have 90 seconds to respond, and we're going to go in the reverse order than we did with the first one. So we're going to begin with Ramya.
Thank you. What motivates me is the question I wish somebody had asked me here, because my passion for education, educating the students, and fostering a supportive and learning environment drives me. That's what I wanted everybody to hear from me, because my motivation is what leads me through. I'm committed to strengthening our community and assisting parents when they come to me with challenges. As a dedicated school and community leader, I'm often called the Energizer Bunny because I'm always motivated to achieve excellence. If elected to the Saratoga School District Board, I'll prioritize transparency and integrity as we prepare our students for a rapidly changing world. While academics excellence is essential, I'm equally dedicated as a special education teacher for the well-rounded learning environment that includes arts, music, sports, and many more social emotional developments in there. As a community leader, I am committed to nurturing our children into a well-rounded citizen. Thank you so much. If you need more information on me, please do visit my website, ramya4SUSD.com. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Melissa, you're in the middle no matter where we go. Okay, your turn.
All right. I wish you had asked me about my accomplishments during my first term on the board, because over the past 4 years, I've dedicated myself to serving our community, families, and students. I am proud of the progress we've made, including a safe reopening of schools following the COVID pandemic, rapid academic recovery for all students, enhanced social and emotional supports, including classroom and school-wide initiatives, implementing a new system, the MTSS system, to identify student needs early, providing the necessary resources to reduce the number of students falling behind, collaborative negotiations with the Saratoga teachers and classified associations, securing top-tier teachers and employees who are among the highest compensated in the state, careful financial stewardship, resulting in over $10 million in facility repairs and upgrades without the need for a tax bond, and fostering a culture of sharing best practices, enhancing the student experience across all schools, grades, and classrooms. These accomplishments not only reflect my dedication to our district's long-term success and my commitment to ensuring that every child has the opportunity to thrive, but are part of the reason why the teachers of our district, the Saratoga Teachers Association, have chosen to endorse me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now Jane.
I'm running for this position because I want to have excellent education for our kids, not just academic excellence, but also well-being, social, emotional well-being. But I wish people would ask me, maybe, are there any other reasons? There is one that I don't get to talk about much, is that I hope I can be an example for our fellow parents. Our society is changing. With Silicon Valley being the global tech hub, we have household families with very busy parents. But to build a community as a whole, we need everyone to step up, to learn, to grow, and to build together. I think the quality of education is a key indicator of our community value. Through my volunteer experiences, I've come to know many, many valuable community members. And even with the past month of campaign experiences, I've learned a great deal of how to shift my individual perspective as a parent to a more high-level understanding of what's going on for the district, for our children as a whole. So together, I hope to earn your trust and support, and also I hope to see more of us coming up together to build our community. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, candidates. We very much appreciate your participating tonight. And now I'm going to return this forum back to Frances Zahn, who's our Vice President of our league, who will close the forum.
Thank you, Linda. Candidates, thank you very much for participating tonight. We wish you well in your campaign and greatly respect your candidacy for this very important office. Audience members, thank you for joining us. We hope you've learned a lot tonight that will help with your voting decision. And in closing, I would like to leave you with a few important election reminders. Priya, could we have your slides again? So again, the general election is on November 5th. So remember to vote on or before November 5th. And next slide. Vote411.org is the main website that is recommended by the League for all your election questions. By just entering your street address, you can get all the information specific to your ballot. And next. Here are also a few additional nonpartisan election resources you can consult. Some of these are available in multiple languages, such as the official voter information guide provided by the Secretary of State and the Easy Voter Guide provided by the League of California Education Fund. And next, remember, democracy is not a spectator sport. We welcome you to join us and find more information about us on our website. And lastly, for anyone who could not join us tonight, a recording will be posted in full, unedited, on our League's website and YouTube channel. Thank you again, everyone, and good night.